The world seemed to slow its hurried pace in Sunshine Park that afternoon. Each moment unfurled like the petals of a flower, revealing simple joys that are often overlooked in the bustle of everyday life. The sun, a golden orb suspended in a sea of blue, cast a gentle warmth across the park, its rays weaving between the leaves to create a living, breathing tapestry of light and shadow. Every now and then, a playful breeze danced through the branches, sending a cascade of dappled sunlight onto the ground, illuminating swaying blades of grass and wildflowers that nodded in cheerful response. Jake reclined against the sturdy trunk of the oak, his arms folded behind his head, and his eyes half closed in a state of perfect contentment. The scent of earth and fresh-cut grass mingled with the faint perfume of wild violets nearby. His shoes were kicked off, toes wiggling in the coolness of the shade, and the faint sound of laughter drifted on the air, a reminder of the children at play somewhere nearby, their voices rising and falling like birds in flight. Mia sat cross-legged at the edge of the blanket, her hair catching the sunlight and glinting with golden highlights. She had a book open in her lap, though her attention wandered from the pages to the world around her. A family of squirrels darted up and down the oak trunk, their tiny claws making quiet scratching sounds. Overhead, a pair of robins flitted from branch to branch, exchanging bright, musical calls that seemed to harmonize with the laughter and the gentle sigh of the wind. Plates, napkins, and crumbs spoke of a feast nearly finished, centered around a classic wicker picnic basket brimming with the remnants of their lunch. Jake, grinning from ear to ear, held aloft his culinary triumph, a thick turkey club sandwich stacked high with crisp lettuce, juicy tomatoes, and layers of savory turkey. The bread, toasted just so, gleamed with a buttery sheen. His eyes sparkled with pride as he presented his masterpiece, and Mia, unable to contain her laughter, pointed at him playfully, her cheeks flushed with joy. But every paradise has its trickster. From the dappled shadows at the blanket's edge, a bushy-tailed squirrel, its fur sleek and eyes sharp with mischief, observed the scene with keen interest. Quick as a wink, it darted forward, its tiny paws moving in a blur. With the precision of a practiced thief, the squirrel seized the sandwich from Jake's unsuspecting grasp, crumbs tumbling from the crust as its little claws clung to the bread. On a heartbeat, chaos erupted. Jake's triumphant pose dissolved into comical dismay. His arms flailed wildly as he leapt to his feet, mouth agape in disbelief. "Hey!" he shouted, his voice more surprised than angry, as he lunged after the furry bandit. Mia, overcome with laughter, collapsed backward onto the blanket, clutching her sides. Tears of mirth sparkled in her eyes as she watched the spectacle unfold, her hand still raised, pointing with delight at the unfolding caper. The squirrel, undeterred by the commotion, dashed across the sunlit grass, sandwich clamped firmly in its jaws. Its bushy tail flicked in triumph, scattering a spray of crumbs in its wake. Jake gave pursuit, his strides uneven, shoes slipping on the dew-slick grass. He called out in mock outrage, but the squirrel was a streak of motion, nimble and unstoppable, weaving between clumps of wildflowers and tufts of clover. The chase reached its climax at the base of the sturdy old oak tree. The squirrel paused, sandwich still securely in its mouth. In a moment that seemed to stretch, it turned to face its pursuers, and, by chance or fate, the world. Its beady eyes sparkled with impish glee, and its expression seemed to say, "Victory is mine." If ever a squirrel could smirk, this one did. One imaginary brow cocked skyward in a gesture of pure sass. Behind the squirrel, Jake came to a halt, hands planted on his hips, chest heaving as he caught his breath. He gazed at the sandwich-thieving rodent with a mixture of defeat and reluctant admiration. The absurdity of the moment was not lost on him. His once prized sandwich was now a trophy in the paws of a tiny, triumphant creature. Back on the blanket, Mia's laughter rang out across the grass, bright and infectious. She rolled onto her side, wiping tears from her eyes, unable to contain her amusement at Jake's failed rescue mission. The sight of her friend, normally so composed, outwitted by a squirrel, was simply too much. The squirrel, savoring its moment in the spotlight, gave the audience one last smug stare. It perched at the base of the oak, the sandwich clutched victoriously, as if posing for a portrait. For an instant, the world seemed to pause. The sunlight caught the sheen of its fur, the sandwich dangled precariously from its teeth, and the tableau was complete. Then, with a flick of its tail, it bounded up the tree, vanishing among the branches with its ill-gotten prize. Jake trudged back to the blanket, his shoulders slumped in mock defeat. But as he drew near, Mia sat up, her laughter softening to a gentle giggle. She reached into the picnic basket, retrieving a fresh apple and handing it to Jake with a wink. "Well, at least you still have dessert," she teased, her eyes twinkling. Jake accepted the apple, his earlier frustration melting into a good-natured smile. "I guess I can't compete with park wildlife," he conceded, flopping down beside her. The two friends lay back, gazing up through the leafy canopy, their laughter mingling with the breeze.